Welcome to Football with Cheese. It is Sunday morning. Game starts in a few hours. This is going to be the Rams-Vikings preview, but I'm going to briefly recap the other games. Just want to go over something I meant to say in my first preview video. There are two teams in the playoffs that have never even been to a Super Bowl. Just two. The Lions and Texans, both still alive. And there were three more that have been to a Super Bowl but lost, but the Chargers are one. They obviously lost yesterday. And the Bills and Vikings both have been to the Super Bowl 4 times and have lost all 4. So if the Lions play the Bills, which seemed to be the most common pick going into the playoffs, I saw that a lot on X and on TV. If the Lions play the Bills, then we'll have a new champion. But anyway, recap the games. Chargers-Texans was so sloppy. It was one of the sloppiest games. There were so many turnovers. The Chargers got off to a pretty good start, except they kicked field goals. And some games, there's just one or two plays that change the game. And when the Texans were down 6-0 and they fumbled the snap, when C.J. Stroud fumbled that snap and it bounced inside the 5, he could have fallen on it, but he tried to pick it up. If he fails to pick that up, then Joey Bosa is probably going to get a touchdown. And it's probably 13-0 Chargers. But he picked it up, then he ran to the right, and he found a guy wide open in the middle of the field. Unbelievable play by Stroud after almost blowing it and changed the whole game. They went down, got a touchdown, never looked back. Crazy play. There were so many crazy plays. The pick 6, it just looked like Justin Herbert threw it to Lad McConkey. McConkey couldn't get his hands up in time. Like he wasn't quite ready. And it sailed, and that gave him the 14-point lead, and that was pretty much it. The Chargers were awful. They played their worst game of the year by far. Justin Herbert threw 3 interceptions in the regular season. He threw 4 in this game. He's now 0-2 in the postseason. He just looked awful. I don't know what happened. But, look, give the Texans credit. Their defense is very good. Pass defense is good. They did an outstanding job. But Chargers, what was that? What? And the special teams, Chargers, you need some help on special teams. Did you see the punt block? The Texans block a punt, but it still goes like 40 yards. It still bounces 40 yards. So it was like the same distance as it was not blocked. You just hardly ever see that. That was funny. Because you saw the punt block and it rolled, and I didn't really pay attention to where it landed. And then the Texans go to snap, and they're like on their own 30. I'm like, wait a second. That wasn't really a block. That didn't do anything. But the craziest play of the game was when the Chargers got that 86-yard touchdown to Lad McConkey. And they finally got some momentum. Okay, here, we can cut it to 10 points. We're still in this. It's early fourth quarter. And then they block, another block. The Texans block the extra point. And Cameron Dicker, he's a great kicker, but he does not know the rules. You can return any block kick. That's the rule. So he just thought he could smash. It's not like an incompletion. He slammed the ball down into the turf. And, of course, Texas picked it up and ran back. If you watch that play, after he knocks the ball down, he gets pounded. He gets hit so hard. And, of course, the Texans return it for 2 points. You can return for 2 points. So instead of a 10-point game, it made it a 13-point game. And all the momentum after that big play is gone. And the Texans never look back. Chargers, awful. The other game, I'll say this. Steelers, horrible first half. Couldn't get anything going, offense or defense. The Ravens are just really good. Derrick Henry had 100 yards rushing in the first half. Lamar Jackson had a bunch of rushing yards. They just couldn't stop the run. And the Steelers are just not a good come-from-behind team. You have to get ahead. And the Ravens didn't miss Zay Flowers at all. Not at all. That surprised me. And Russell Wilson, give him credit. Those 2 touchdown passes he threw were perfect. Down the field, right on the receiver's hands. Pickens made a really good move on the second one to avoid the safety and score. But Russell Wilson, those passes were perfect. Right on their hands. 28-14 final. It's a shame they couldn't do more in the first half, or it would have been a really good game. I was hoping for a really good game. But did you see Derrick Henry's 44-yard touchdown? That's when it was 21-7. It pretty much killed any chance the Steelers had. He's 250 pounds, and he's so fast. Like, no DB could catch him. It's unbelievable that someone is that big and that fast. Incredible. God, he's first ballot Hall of Fame. He's an incredible player. Surprised more teams weren't interested in him as a free agent. But the Ravens got him. All right. 0-2 versus the spread. Great start. 9-1 in college versus spread. College playoff. 0-2 so far. 1-1 in just regular picks. But we'll see how it goes today. To recap, I have the Bills covering 8.5. I have the Eagles covering 5. And I have the Buccaneers covering 3. Now, the Vikings-Rams. There's a lot to talk about with this game, but I'm going to keep it brief. The game's in Arizona because of the LA fires. Such a shame. I don't know if that really changes much, because I don't think the Rams had this big home field advantage like Seattle or like Kansas City has, or teams like that. They don't seem to get like super loud. But the Rams do have to travel, so it definitely doesn't help. But I don't think it'll have too much of an impact. So they played a Thursday night earlier this year, and I remember that game because the Vikings defense had been playing so well up to that point, like almost dominating some games. And the Rams seemed to have no problem moving the ball in that game. Scored 30 points. It was the best anyone has done this year against the Brian Flores defense. And in that game, Brian Flores is all about showing pre-snap something and then doing something else, just messing with your head, and also bringing pressure. They blitz more. The Vikings blitz more than any team in the NFL. So they weren't able to get pressure. Stafford stayed upright most of the game. They were not able to get pressure on the Rams. And the Rams have those two really good wide receivers, Puka Nacua, Cooper Kupp. Puka Nacua he's just always open. I watch him on the All-22. He is always open. He can beat man. As good as probably anyone in the NFL. He's that good. So Vikings D, their defense is just, you look at the group, and I look at, before I did this video, I just looked at the group, and it's just not a lot of talent. It's maybe average talent. They have good pass rushers, Jonathan Grenard, Andrew Van Ginkel. The defensive tackles are below average. The corners aren't very good. So it's all about pressure. That's how their defense dominates. Pressure, because you have to make, when you're a quarterback, you have to make decisions so quickly. And Brian Flores does a great job of showing you one thing and doing another. And it's hard to process that so fast. You have to make decisions quickly as a quarterback. But Stafford had no trouble with it. Vikings on offense. Christian Darrisaw, their left tackle's out for the year. It's a big loss. They did trade for Cam Robinson, but he is not the player Darrisaw is. And that matchup with Jared Verse, the star rookie pass rusher for the Rams, probably going to win Defensive Rookie of the Year. That's a huge matchup. If Jared Verse is getting pressure consistently, the Vikings could be in for a long day. The key with Darnold is you got to get pressure on him. You saw what the Lions did last week. They got so much pressure on him, it caused him to have a terrible game. He actually handled pressure a lot this year. That was a knock on Sam Darnold in his career in college and pro, was he's great when he had a clean pocket, but when he had pressure, when he had to move, he got inaccurate, he made bad decisions. This year, he's been pretty good at that. He's improved there. That's one of the reasons why he's had such a good season. But he was not good against the Lions last week when he had pressure in his face. And that's the key. If the Rams can get pressure on him, get him outside the pocket, make him uncomfortable, I think they'll probably win. I don't know. This is like a coin flip game. This is tough. I think the Vikings are a little better, but just a little. The Rams started 1-4, had all kinds of injuries to the receiving corps, to the offensive line, and then their last game they rested people. So if you take away those games, they're 9-2. Yeah, 9-2 in games where the offense was healthy and they didn't rest people. So they're pretty good. They have a very good team. So And the Vikings, I got to mention this. Justin Jefferson, Jordan Addison, unbelievable combo. T.J. Hawkinson, great tight end. They have weapons. Aaron Jones, great running back. I would feature Jones a lot early in that game, take pressure off Darnold. I give Aaron Jones like 7 the first 10 touches. All right. Prediction time. Vikings are favored by 2.5. It was 1.5, I think, because it moved to Arizona. The line moved to 2.5. I think it's probably a coin flip game. I'm going to go ahead and take the Rams. Like I said, they did really well against the Vikings last time. So I'm going to take the Rams to win straight up and obviously then cover the 2. So I like the Rams plus 2.5. Alrighty. If Green Bay wins today, they go to Detroit on Saturday. As far as the AFC goes, if the Broncos beat the Bills, they go to Kansas City. If the Bills win, they host Baltimore, and Kansas City would host the Texans. All right, there we go. Subscribe. Share this video. Yes, I'm still drinking my coffee. Anyone loves football, share the video. Follow me on X @FootballCheese. And yeah, go Pack Go.